This is Aubrey from the So Wizard Podcast, and you're listening to the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network.
Broadcasting very fast and very dangerous from the planet Malastare. You are listening to So Wizard.
You're thinking people gonna die?
The only podcast to make the Kessel run in under 12 parsecs.
There'll be no one to stop us this time.
What's going on, everybody? It is time for episode number 259 of the So Wizard Podcast. I'm your host, Joey DiCarlo. This week, my co-hosts. First off, we've got the expert, Mr. Marquis Marcellus Reagans.
Yo, what is going on, party people? How's everybody doing?
Excellent. And the queen of all nerds, Aubrey Litchfield, is away on assignment this week. So filling in from the Pint of Comics podcast, we've got Mr. Johnny Ganache.
My sweat has a layer of sweat.
It's a little warm for you today, man?
It's a little, this is like, come on, man. This is like surface of the sun stuff, man. These last couple of days are complete and utter bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on these last couple of days.
Well, you are listening to So Wizard Podcast, where three friends discuss the world of nerd, podcasting weekly. This week, we're going to talk about some news from San Diego Comic-Con, and then we've got a review of the new horror movie, Crawl. But before we get into that, how is everyone doing? John, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you.
Tell us all about Pint of Comics and what's going on with you.
All right, Pint of Comics is a weekly podcast and a radio show. We talk about all the fun stuff going on in geekdom, I guess you could say. Movies, comic books, games, music. Sometimes we touch on it all. We do a series called the Pint Movie Invitational, where we invite people on. They pick a movie. We talk about the movie. Just a lot of stuff like that. If you like this type of show and the pop culture world, then I think you should give us a shot. And you can find us on all of the pod-catching platforms and iHeartRadio and all that good stuff.
Awesome. And how are you this week?
Oh, I'm good. I'm sorry, man. This heat has got me like it's air conditioned in my house and it's hot. I don't think that's supposed to happen. It's like nature is turning against us. I don't know, man. My brain is not even working totally at all anymore.
Yeah, Mother Nature is like, all right, I see your air conditioning. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. See how you like that.
Yeah, really. Really. Mother Nature versus air conditioner. It's never going to go well for the air conditioner.
Awesome. How about you, Marcellus? Are you keeping cool this weekend?
Yeah, my way, I don't have an AC, so my way of keeping cool is just not moving. So find a nice cold spot in the shade, and I stay there. And I've been there for the past 2 days.
That's a good plan.
This is the first time I've left my my spot all weekend. And Joey, how about you, man? Are you keeping cool this super hot weather we having?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just mostly am inside, so the worst of it is going from my house to my car or from work to the car. But no, I'm just exhausted. It's been a brutal week at work. I've had one of my team members on vacation, so we've just been picking up the slack, and I'm really tired. But that's okay, because I'm just going to prop myself up on the desk, and we're going to kick it out So Wizard style and get it done for the listeners. So, Marcellus, why don't you tell the listeners where they can find more So Wizard podcast?
Sure. All right, so everybody can go to SoWizardPodcast.com, where you will find new episodes every week. You'll find movie reviews from yours truly, Netflix and Amazon streaming picks from our buddy, the awesome Adam Wallyhawk. You'll also find merchandise there, so you can purchase some of our t-shirts and look good while you're representing our show. A great way to support our show is by doing your Amazon shopping through the link that we keep right on that website. Click on the Amazon logo, you do your shopping, you receive your products, and that way you'll be helping out our little podcast. You can find our social media links there too. We have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review while you're there. You can also find us on the Stitcher Radio app for your tablet or smartphone. We are on Podbean, we're on Google Play Music, we're on iHeartRadio, we're on Podcoin, and you can stream our show through Spotify. We also have our Patreon website that you can subscribe to, donate a little money, receive bonus content from the group here at So Wizard. We like to do bonus episodes specifically for our Patreon clients. And I almost forgot, we also have a YouTube channel. New videos going up every week. There's a lot of introspective videos from our buddy, the awesome Adam Mollyhawk, giving his thoughts on things and doing a review of Steven Spielberg films, which is very cool. Shout out to everyone in the Geek World All-Stars Podcasting Network. Back to you, Joey.
I am Thanos. Give me all your special rocks.
How's that?
All right, fantastic. So we got a lot to talk about. Marcellus, hit us with the news.
Yo, pump it up. It's time for the news. Yo, we getting ready to bring you the news, boy.
Whew, good Lord, there's a lot to talk about. So how are we going to do this?
Yeah, if we, for listeners out there, this weekend is San Diego Comic-Con weekend, one of the biggest nerd news weekends of the entire year. There's a lot of stuff that they dropped, a lot of stuff that they wanted to get the nerds excited about. So if we went through all of that, it would take forever. So what I think we're going to do is just do our top 3 favorite announcements from San Diego Comic-Con 2019. And that includes trailers that dropped on the show, trailers that had nothing to do with San Diego Comic-Con that also did drop, and the big Marvel announcements too. Anything, TV shows, whatever. So I figured we'll do our top 3 and see what really impressed us. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I wanted to record for 5 hours.
And you can do that, Joey. You can totally do that. I won't be there for that, but you can go right ahead, knock yourself out.
No problem. All right, I guess number 3. We'll start with our guest, John. What did you what was your number 3 thing from San Diego Comic-Con?
It's kind of funny that this is my number 3 thing, but I'm not the world's biggest Top Gun fan. Top Gun came out when I was probably 11 years old, and I do like it. And it's one of those things that's ingrained in pop culture and ingrained in my life. So I'd have to go with my number 3 thing being the trailer for Top Gun Maverick, simply for the fact that with the music, this trailer, it's one of the most, I guess, fan servicey trailers I've seen in a long time, because everything they do in the movie, between the music and seeing his jacket and the same glasses, and there's a scene where he's racing a motorcycle against a jet, and they show a little tidbit of a scene that looks like instead of a kind of weirdly gay volleyball scene, there's now a weirdly gay football scene. There's a scene where they're singing around a piano. It just, again, not being the biggest fan, but being a fan of it and having it be a big part of my childhood, it was just really cool to see. And the number one thing I'm taking away from this is, I know Joey hates Tom Cruise, but I think we could all agree that Tom Cruise obviously learns things and does his own stunts. And from that trailer, I walk away going, is he flying that jet for real? Because it looks like he's actually flying the jet in this trailer. I know there's movie trickery, but I would not be surprised when this thing comes out next summer if they say that Tom Cruise learned how to fly an F-16 or whatever it is and actually flew in these scenes. So that's my number 3.
Yeah, John, I think they did just announce that he is flying that by himself. That is actually
that's insane.
He filmed himself. He puts the camera inside of the plane himself, and he films himself as he's doing those flying sequences.
Yeah, because if you watch the trailer, it's all from inside the cockpit.
Yep.
And again, I understand movies could do a million magical things, but and then you take the added factor of knowing that Tom Cruise will, jump across buildings and climb on the side of buildings and hang off of a plane and do all this stuff. And, again, it's impressive. Am I super excited about the movie? No, but it's the trailer kind of just scratched an itch, I guess, for me. So we'll see.
Dude, I love that trailer. I thought it was amazing. And it does look it looks like the sequel that would have come out 2 years after Top Gun came out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's exactly the same. It's like, hey, remember this? Remember this? Remember this? We're doing the same thing, but bigger and better. So yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm psyched.
I hate Tom Cruise.
Yes.
And here we go. Unpopular opinion. I'm sorry to the listeners, but I really don't like Top Gun that much either.
Wow. This would be the place where I would put it. There's a gif of Cary Grant telling someone to get out. This is where I would drop that right there.
I'm sorry, but as a kid, I found it boring. The one time I watched it, I was bored, and it was clearly not as good as the superior fighter jet movie from the early 80s, Iron Eagle.
Oh, God. Jason Gedrick and Louis Gossett Jr.
That's right. Until Tom Cruise is listening to a Walkman with rock music on it to learn how to fly an F-14, I'm not interested in Tom Cruise in any way, shape, or form doing anything. So,
well, the thing about Top Gun, real quick, is what I always thought was funny about it was that
sucks.
Well, besides that, it was this. Here's a movie that is jammed in an era of all these Stallone and short, Rambo and Commando, these real action movies. And when you really get right down to it, Top Gun is just about a bunch of guys training. That's really what it is. I mean, there's a scene at the beginning and the end where they kind of engage enemy fighters, and the rest of it is just about a bunch of flyboys in school. So, I mean, it is kind of funny.
Yeah, Top Gun came at a time where there's no other movies like that at all. Like, a lot of people were, everyone was in love with, like, Star Wars and those flying sequences, but no one really knew that we could do that on Earth. And Top Gun kind of put that out there for in a really, like, Vaseline candy colored presentation. It made people really appreciate our flying forces. And the movie, good or bad, it's debatable. But that movie, if it wasn't for Top Gun, you wouldn't get an Iron Eagle, Joey. So just keep that in mind.
Well, it's fine. It can exist, but I'm not going to be excited about it. Fine, whatever. You make me go see it anyway, aren't you, Mark?
No. I've learned that lesson. I'm not making you see any Tom Cruise movie at all if I can avoid it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, what's your number 3, Mark?
My number 3 announcement that came out of San Diego Comic-Con that made me so happy was that the Russo brothers have bought the rights to Battle of the Planets. So they are either producing, writing, and or directing a new Battle of the Planets movie. And Battle of the Planets was my jam when I was a kid. It wasn't until I was an adult that I realized it was just a complete copy of Star Wars. Like, for some reason, Battle and Planets didn't like register they were copying Star Wars. Even the font itself was very Star Wars. But I loved it growing up as a kid. There was a comic book series that came out a few years ago that Alex Ross did the covers for. That's amazing. There is a Japanese version of it, a Japanese movie version that came out probably about 4 years ago that I loved. And there was supposed to be an animated version. I think the studio that did Astro Boy, we're working on it, and they actually got some of it done, but the studio went out of business. So I never got that animated movie. But as far as things that I loved as a kid that I wanted to see brought to life, Battle of the Planets is definitely one of them. And the fact that the Russo brothers are possibly going to direct it, I'm ready. I take my money now. I'm ready. I'm so psyched for this. So are you guys familiar with Battle of the Planets?
John, did you ever watch Battle of the Planets?
As a kid, yes. It's one of those things that I don't know if you have similar things in your life that when you were a kid, you loved it and then you never really carried it on through the rest of your life, but you are still you have like these kind of visceral memories of it. And yeah, Battle of the Planets is the characters that all are kind of dressed like birds, right?
That's
like
right.
They have, right. I think was it also called maybe G-Force?
Yeah, they did do a reboot of it. Probably about 10 years after the initial run, and they called it G-Force.
Okay. Yeah, it's the kind of thing that I have not seen literally since I was probably 7 years old, but I'm still aware of it. I do remember, Mark, what you're talking about with the Alex Ross covers, and I think it was maybe IDW or Dynamite did a series. Yeah, I mean, am I clamoring for it? No, but is it cool that it's out there and that guys that obviously know what they're doing are going to have something to do with it? Yeah. My only fear is with a lot of these things is you hear them, they get announced, and then it just never happens, or it ends up in developmental hell, or, in like 8 years, or in 100 episodes of So Wizard, we're going to hear every 10 episodes you guys bring it up again, and then it doesn't happen. So hopefully it happens.
Yeah, I'll be the only one that will be bringing it up. So yeah, you definitely be looking forward to the episode where I'm crying into the microphone that it's been shelved again. But until that moment happens, I'm ready for it. Now, Joey, you didn't watch it at all, did you?
Of course I did.
You did? So I thought you were more. I thought you were all
Yeah.
about Star Blazers. I thought that was your jam.
No, but that was on. That was on, and Star Blazers. I think we're at 4 and 4:30
Okay.
every day. So it was Force 5, which was probably I think that was regionally only in New England, but that was on at like 2:00, I think, or 1:00. And then Battle of the Planets and Star Blazers were on later on in the afternoon. So yeah, I watched that all the time. I loved it. But much like you, John, I don't think I've watched it in 30 years.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I sat down and watched Battle of the Planets. I know, obviously, like we're talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I loved that show, but I can't remember the last time I watched it. It's not on any sort of streaming service. It's not easily accessible as far as I can understand. Am I correct here?
Yeah, I think the rights to it got mixed up in some aspect like a few years ago. Which is why I think the Russos were able to come in and scoop it up. It's like, here's a property that no one's really doing anything with. Let's just buy this. But yeah, I know
yeah.
they did like a big box set a few years ago that Alex Ross did like a special edition cover for. And after that, like a year after that, I think it was like discontinued.
The Russos came in and they got Battle for the Planets and Transor Z for like $2,600. They had a bonus together.
I never got it.
used to watch Transor Z.
Transor Z was awesome. That had the character, the giant female robot Aphrodite A that used to shoot her breasts off as missiles.
Amazing.
Yeah, really weird.
All right, so that was my number 3. Joey, what about you? What's your number 3?
All right. Well, my number 3 is going to be Marvel Studios' Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
I feel like this kind of got buried under all the other Marvel announcements and things for the weekend. And I'm really excited about this movie. Obviously, I love martial arts and action movies. I think this is going to be like top tier because Marvel needs this to be a knock it out of the park grand slam hit in China. So they're not going to make this half-ass. Not that they make things half-assed anyway, but they're definitely not going to half-ass this. And I'm just really excited. The lead actor seems to be really, really into playing the part. He's all over social media in excitement, and I'm really pumped to see what they can do with a martial arts movie. So that is my number 3.
Yeah, I was psyched to see that they actually cast the Mandarin, the real Mandarin, and it's going to be Tony Leung, who I remember from one of my favorite action movies of all time, Hard Boiled.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Say no more.
He's always been a man, and he's the guy he does like art house movies and gets like critically acclaimed. So seeing him as the main bad guy is awesome because he's iconic status for being a Hard Boiled.
How about you, John? Are you excited for Shang-Chi?
You know, I'm not only excited for it, I'm surprised pleasantly that this wasn't one that they relegated to television, that they actually are going to, and I think Black Panther kind of paved the way for that, because I think maybe a few years ago, making a Shang-Chi movie would have been a bigger risk. You know, it's a minority character, and it's a character that even though he's been around for a million years, you know, not everybody knows. But yeah, I mean, this could be like the ultimate martial arts, superheroics. You know, if you've read any of the Marvel comics in the last 10, 12 years, Shang-Chi is like a secret agent now. He's I think part of MI6 or whatever. So there's a lot they could do. And who is the guy who's playing him? Because that's one piece of information I did not see. Is he someone from something, or is he a newcomer?
He is in some sitcom.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember what the sitcom is. I'll be quite honest with you because I don't watch comedies. But I don't know. He seems like he's really enthusiastic about it. And he actually retweeted himself from like 2015, tweeting at Kevin Feige to talk to him about being Shang-Chi.
Oh, that's awesome. And and again, I know this stuff could be taught, but is he a martial artist?
I'm not sure, but I'm sure they can make it work.
We don't need another Iron Fist situation.
I'm sure he'll have plenty of time to learn enough choreography to fake it until the stunt double comes in. So
yeah,
he'll be wearing a lot of hats and sunglasses. Movie. But I am excited. I'm glad they're bringing the Mandarin back around and working in the Ten Rings organization again. So it's cool. I really want to see some cool fights.
Yeah, agreed.
Awesome. All right, that brings us back around to number 2. How about you, John? Number 2.
Number 2, I'm going to go on the comic side of things, and it's something I actually just saw today. But it looks like Tom King and Mitch Gerards, who were the team that did Mr. Miracle for DC last year, which was a really awesome series, are going to be doing a book. It might be called Strange Land. I could be wrong about the name of the book, but it's an Adam Strange book. And Adam Strange is a cool character that, really doesn't get used a very lot in the DC universe anymore. And he's a cosmic character. And they're getting the reputation, these guys now, of going in and taking these kind of not obscure, but not Batman or Superman level characters and making these really incredible books. As a matter of fact, this weekend, Tom King won Best Writer for Mr. Miracle. So it's kind of a hand-in-hand announcement. He wins the Eisner for Best Writer, and now they announced this series they're doing. So that's amazingly a piece of comic book news that came out of San Diego Comic-Con, which usually it's not comic book related, but that was very cool to me.
Yeah, I kind of forgot they did announce some comic book stuff from San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody really cares, it seems like. It's like, oh, Tom Cruise is making this, and, they're doing this, the MCU. But, there's still some comic stuff going on.
That's really cool, dude. I did see, there was like a little comic thing that I saw too. Marvel was doing like another big event, and they announced that. I didn't get the details, but every time they say Marvel and San Diego Comic-Con, my ears perk up. And then I'm like, oh, it's comic book stuff. And I just kind of walked away.
Yeah, they announced because Marvel is doing Jonathan Hickman is taking over the X-Men universe and doing these 2 books concurrently that are going to be the only 2 books in X-Men line for a while. And this has been known for a while, House of X and Powers of X, I think they're called. And then today or yesterday they announced like the 6 X-Men titles that are going to be spinning out of it.
Oh, nice.
And they're not really, it's just like the same thing. They're just new teams and wearing different colors, and Wolverine's on 4 of them, and that to me that doesn't matter. But I mean, yeah. So if you're an X-Men fan, check it out because there's new X-Men stuff coming.
Nice. God, I wish I paid more attention to the comic book stuff now.
I have an unpopular opinion.
We know you don't like Top Gun. We got it.
No, I don't like Top Gun, and I don't like Tom King.
Yeah, I agree with you on certain things. I don't think his Batman is that great.
Yeah, Batman, not good. Heroes in Crisis, doo-doo feces.
Yeah, I didn't finish Heroes in Crisis, and I heard the ending was rough. But I really, really did like Mr. Miracle. And I haven't read it, but I heard his Vision series that he did for Marvel was awesome. But I fully agree. I mean, people, lick this dude's taint over Batman, and I don't get it. It's not a terrible book, but it's like, this is not like the best Batman I've ever read, and people fall all over him for that. So
I'm just all set with the nonstop just talking, and everything has to be about PTSD.
Yeah.
So I'm good. I'm good with Tom King. No thanks. All right. Mark Hellis, number 2.
Number 2, and kind of going back to the whole nostalgia taste that they're delivering. My second favorite thing that I saw from San Diego Comic-Con was the trailer for Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. I love The View of Schooniverse. And seeing his trailers, seeing them kind of pretty much a lot like Top Gun. They remade the original Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back movie. Same concept, same people. There's a part in it where they show Matt Damon, and then right after that they show Ben Affleck. Seeing Ben Affleck back in a Kevin Smith movie just warms my heart. It was one of the most fantastic, amazing things I saw in that trailer. So yeah, being a big Kevin Smith fan, I loved it. I can't wait to see it. He's going to be doing like a little mini tour where him and Muse are going to be screening the movie and doing like a Q&A afterwards. If I have time and money, I might consider doing that. If not, I'm just going to check it out in the theaters. But that was one of my favorite things out of this whole weekend.
Wow. What did you think of that trailer, John?
20 years ago, I probably would have been excited. I loved the Kevin Smith, Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, all the early stuff, and I even liked Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I kind of fell out from him, or Clerks 2 I didn't really care for, and then he did some stuff that was interesting. Red State was a I like the fact that he started doing things that were not expected of him, but then he kind of fell back into it again. And when I see that trailer, I just feel like I'm seeing like it's like watching it's like watching like an adult put on his Little League costume. There's a sad aspect to it, like Jason Mewes. He just looks kind of like beat. And then you get Jason Lee in there for a second, and he's playing Brody from Mallrats, except it was awesome when he was 23, and it's weird when he's like 52.
Sure.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't have any. I'm not into it anymore. But like people like Mark or people that are still into it, I think it's great. I think it's great that they're getting a movie that they've been waiting for. It's just that like. When Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back came out, I probably saw it in the theaters 3 times. I laughed my ass off, but I was also in my 20s, and it worked for me. When I see this trailer, I won't say I won't watch it on video, but man, you couldn't get me in the theater for that thing.
Wow, that's fair, and that's fair. That's fair. I mean, it's been a long time since he's actually made like a really good movie.
Yeah,
and he'll be the first one to tell you that. He only had like 5 bullets in his gun when he came onto the scene, and after Dogma, that was pretty much it. So now it's just like whatever he can do to like stay relevant. But I want to see his take on the whole Batman v Superman thing. I love the fact that he's doing the same crew, but this time it's a reboot. So like every guy is going to be a girl, and there's going to be like, they're going to play up the diversity aspect. I'm very interested to see his take on all of the reboots and remakes that we've been getting these past few years. And I think he's a funny enough dude that he has something to say. So I'm looking forward to it.
I just feel, I kind of feel like half Mark and half John. Like I understand where John's coming from, because I feel the same way. I was really excited about Kevin Smith when he first came out. I loved Clerks. I probably was one of like 10 people that saw Mallrats in the movie theater.
Me too.
Loved Chasing Amy. Loved Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Cracks started to show. I really didn't like Dogma. And then I was excited because he was going to go do Superman, or he was going to go do something else. And it was like, great. He made his mark, and now he's moving on to different kind of movies. I like this guy. Let's see what he's got. And he just fell right back into making the same type of movies again.
Yeah, it seems like he failed. Like when he made that one with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, that like Jersey Girl. Which he broke off. He tried to do something that wasn't in that universe, and then he made the one with Bruce Willis with Here's a Cop. I never saw either one of those movies, but it seemed like he went out and tried to do beyond what he was known for, and because he failed a couple times, it seems like he fell right back into it. And like I said, if you ever saw Red State, it's actually a pretty solid movie, and it's completely a 180 from everything he's ever done before. And I kind of had hoped that we would start seeing more of that from him. And it's, again, I get it. The guy's got to eat, and the guy's got a family, and and I'm sure there's a part of him that feels like he has to finish, what he started. But I'm hoping after this, I'm hoping this is actually the end of that, and maybe he focuses on other stuff.
Well, I think maybe he's in like a self-repeating loop now, where he has his podcasts, and he can make these types of movies for his fans.
Right.
And they're always going to be successful to profitable for him. So now there really isn't a need to branch out.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
So there's no need there. But yeah, I mean, as a fan of all those movies back in the day, I'm definitely going to go check this out. And I did giggle or chuckle a few times at the trailer, but the excitement I would have felt about this, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago certainly is not there. So fan men are going to kill us, aren't they?
They're going to kill you. I like the trailer.
All right. So my number 2 is going to be Netflix presents Henry Cavill is The Witcher. We got our first extended look at the TV series based on the book, which then had a video game based on it, which was very popular. Sword and sorcery stuff reminded me a lot of Game of Thrones. We didn't get to see a lot of monster fighting action until the very end of the trailer, but it has me excited of something to watch that maybe won't shard itself as it gets to the end. What did you think of the Witcher trailer, Mark Ellis?
Yeah, I liked it, man. Henry Cavill, I really want him to come back as Superman. I really do. But in the meantime, I will accept him in this role. There was definitely a lot more. You can tell that there was some money spent on it, and there's definitely a lot more fantasy elements than I was expecting. But I think it looks cool. I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Do you think did you get a Game of Thrones vibe from it?
Yeah. Like the beginning of it, definitely. The first half of the trailer, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely like Game of Thrones. And then they added more like fantasy stuff throughout it. So yeah, I was surprised.
All right. What about you, John?
Does he have a mustache in this?
No.
Yeah, well, he does, but they digitally removed it.
They digitally removed it. I'll be honest, I did not see this trailer, but I will speak through my buddy Lou, who you guys met at Plastic City Comic Con, who does all our YouTube videos and stuff. He is a huge video game nerd, which I am not. And he was over the other night. We were recording some episodes, and he watched the trailer on my couch. And I had to clean a creamy spot off of my couch for about 4 hours afterwards. So I'm assuming from his reaction that it looks pretty cool. But and that's, and he's a big Witcher fan. Otherwise, for me, it's one of those things that if it's on Netflix and I see a little ad for it when I'm flipping through, and it also is going to rely on how many episodes. Is it 8 episodes, which I can commit to, or is it the Marvel 13 that I don't want anything to do with? So that's going to be a big part of it too.
Yeah, I think I read it was about 8 episodes, 8 or 9 episodes.
Perfect. That's 8 episodes, kind of as proven by Stranger Things Season 3, is just about my allotment of time allowed in my life between work and everything else and my attention span.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
All right. So we'll keep our eyes out for that. We'll definitely be watching that for the podcast, Mark Ellis, at least the pilot episode.
Yes, at least the pilot one.
I like Henry Cavill. I did not like him as Superman. Not him fault specifically, but just the scripts and movies failed him. He was fine himself as Superman. So I want to see him be in something that's good. So, and I don't like Mission Impossible, so that doesn't count.
He was great. He was great in Mission Impossible. He really was.
That's what I keep hearing. So good for him. But it's all about me. I don't care about him. So give us your number one. What was the biggest announcement of the weekend for you, John, that just girded your loins?
Okay. So I think the one that actually got me the most, and just because I'm a fan of the original movies, was when they announced Mahershala Ali as Blade. I love that guy. He's a fantastic actor. He proves how important an actor is when you watch Luke Cage season 1 and his character dies 5 episodes in, and then the show just takes a fucking nosedive once he's gone. I saw him in Moonlight, which he won an Oscar for. I really liked him a lot in that, and it was a good movie. And he's just a very charismatic dude. And here's a character, again, that, we've been hearing, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And eventually it's coming around. And I saw the video of how they announced it, which I don't know if you guys saw, but they announced everything. They brought everybody up on stage. They went through the timeline. And then they just said, Kevin Feige said, we got one more thing. 2-time Oscar winner Mahershala Ali, he comes out. And then he says, I think you have a hat that you're going to show everybody. And he pulls a baseball cap out, puts it on. It says Blade. And then at the same exact time, the crowd goes crazy. And then the Blade logo pops up on the screen. And I thought, okay, this is what, I love the original Blade. I love Blade 2. And this is what the Marvel universe for the movies kind of needed, was like a little bit of the darker, a little bit of the non-superheroic, and it depends on what they do with it. They can do a lot of things with it, but I'm psyched about that. So that's my number one thing.
Now, are you a little disappointed that it's going to be, since it's going to be a part of the MCU, it's most likely going to be PG-13 and not R like the other Blade movies?
That is a little disappointing, but I don't think that that's a deal breaker for me. I think a lot of times in movies, when you're killing undead things, they can work it around a lot better than, you know what I mean? Like, than human deaths in terms of ratings. Yep. The parameters are probably a little bit different. So yeah, the gore rating might not be there as much, but in all honesty, I'm just going to go from the announcement was awesome. And then until I see a bad trailer or I'm at the theater and I walk out and go, holy shit, that sucked, I'm not going to worry about it. And it would also be pretty cool if they decided to maybe start making, slightly darker R-rated fare for these movies. I understand they probably won't because not everybody can go see it, and Disney is all about the money. But either way, I'm cool with it.
Cool. Yeah, I'm very, very excited about it too. Just getting Mahershala Ali is a huge Blade fan, which I think that's why they're doing it. Like they probably said, all right, we got our phase 4, we're all done. Oh, there's a knock at the door, and Mahershala's like, you guys need an Academy Award winner for anything? And they're like, well, we got Blade. We got Blade back. So yeah, anything starring him as a superhero or as a anti-hero or just starring him in that universe, I'm ready. I just want them to announce a date.
Literally what happened.
Well, he knocked on a door and said, hey, I want to be a superhero.
Kevin Feige said in his mind that's who he wanted to play Blade.
Yeah.
If they could bring it back. And then he called them to set up a meeting. And it's like, hey, could I be Blade? And he was like, yes, you can be Blade. And it was immediately added to the slate.
He just walks in and puts his Academy Award, both of them on a table, and be like, can I be in a movie? Yes.
Well, you know what? When you get somebody with that pedigree as an actor and he's like, hey, can I make an awesome movie for you? What are you going to do? Say no?
Meanwhile, during the meeting, Wesley Snipes is outside the window, washing the window, banging on the window, going, I'll be Blade. I'll be Blade.
I love Wesley Snipes as Blade. Blade
I do too. He sabotaged his whole, he's one of those guys who just kind of blew his whole career.
Well, and he's also old.
Yeah.
There is that.
He'll still kick my ass though. I won't call him old to his face.
Of course he will, but yeah, they were never going to bring this back and have Wesley Snipes as Blade. Like that was never going to happen, no matter who was the actor.
What about Sticky Fingers? What about where's Sticky Fingers at?
It was never going to be Sticky Fingers.
Did Onyx get back together?
I wish Onyx got back together. It was never going to be Wesley Snipes or Sticky Fingers. So unfortunately, maybe they could find a cameo role for him or something. And Wesley Snipes was just on What We Do in the Shadows a few weeks ago. So in a cameo role.
I saw that. That was awesome. That was an awesome cameo.
That was pretty funny. But yeah, John, this was my number one.
Oh, nice.
Oh, good. Nice.
So, yeah, I was refreshing Twitter in my car before I had to go into work last night. And then this popped up and I was like almost in tears with excitement. I don't think it being PG-13 is a big deal. I mean, it means you got to take out some swears, maybe a couple kills. I'm not sure how gory. It's been a while since I've watched either of them. I think, you maybe have to rejig a little bit of stuff, but for the most part, I don't think it was that violent. Mark, were those movies really violent?
They were bloody as shit. They were really bloody.
Okay, maybe you have to take the blood out or something. But I just remember when he killed the vampires, they just like turned to ash when he would shoot them.
Yeah,
right?
They would just kind of ash away, yeah.
Yeah, but their attacks, I believe, were the bloody ones.
Okay, well, whatever. They'll make it work. It's Marvel. Come on.
Yeah. And if you really want an R-rated Blade movie, there's 3 to choose from, and
there's 2 of them that are good.
Show. Yeah, right. I was gonna say there's 2 to choose from. The third one we're not gonna talk about.
But yeah, I am also super fucking excited for this. That was the most exciting Marvel announcement of the weekend for me. So that was my number one. So I guess we've gushed enough about Blade. What's your number one, Mark?
Honestly, almost the entire Marvel panel was like a highlight for me. I loved everything about it, especially that they're bringing back Monica Rambeau in the WandaVision show, which I think is cool. But the complete highlight for me out of all of those announcements, I did love Blade, but they did announce that Taika Waititi was coming back for Thor. And when they showed the logo for Thor, Love and Thunder, which is just an amazing looking logo, an amazing title, got Tessa Thompson coming back. And they said that Taika Waititi said that he was reading the Thor comic books where there was a female Thor. Natalie Portman is coming back into the MCU and she's going to be the female Thor. It's mind boggling that they got to the point where they can actually do that. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that's like, you never think it's going to happen. Like I know eventually there will be a Miles Morales in the MCU, But that's something that I'm not thinking about for 6 years from now, maybe. But Jane Foster is Thor. The fact that they're doing that next, that's fantastic. That blew me away. I absolutely loved it. So, I have full faith in Taika Waititi. I have full faith in everything that they're doing with the Thor franchise. And I love that he's getting a part 4, but we won't get an Iron Man or a Captain America part 4. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is going to be really exciting. I am not the biggest fan of Natalie Portman, but, I know she considers herself a serious actress. And that's kind of why she had walked away from the Marvel movies, because she didn't feel she was being used to the best of her ability. And somehow they got her to come back. So there must be something very exciting on the table.
Yeah, like a suitcase full of $1,000 bills.
I think she's pretty good set for life.
Yeah, but you can always use more,
Yeah, well, she was there at the beginning of the whole Marvel phase when, they weren't really paying that much. You know what I mean? They were trying to keep everything on a low, and it was very much a boys' club, and she definitely wanted to introduce more diversity into it. And here we are going into phase 4, and just looking at the stage this past weekend, you can see there's not just a bunch of white dudes up there. So, I'm sure that played a factor into it.
Don't worry. Wait till Scarlett Johansson is Black Panther 2.
I can't wait. Scarlett Johansson is Miles Morales. I can't wait.
Well, they'll get to those characters eventually. Like, people are losing their minds over and over again that they haven't announced Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. But that whole character's crux is that she's a huge Captain Marvel fan. So until you have Captain Marvel established for someone to actually be a fan of something, her story doesn't work.
Right.
Right.
So relax. We'll get there. So I don't know. I'm excited. I don't care. They can do whatever the hell they want. And then they keep pulling these obscure characters out of their ass. And it's just even better. We have a fucking Doctor Strange movie that's going to be about the multiverse with him teaming up with Scarlet Witch. So it's crazy.
Yeah. They've gotten to the point where they've been at that point where they got to the point where they just know that they make the rules and you're going to go see it. And that's all there is to it.
Imagine being a DC stan and they can't even get Superman right.
Yeah.
And fucking Marvel's like, hey, fucking Shang-Chi, let's do it.
Yeah. We got a D-Man movie coming out and people are going to go see it in droves. And yet you guys can't do Superman and Batman in the same fucking movie.
# release the Snyder cut.
Oh my God.
I know. I waited all weekend for that announcement. Never happened. There's still time. It's still going on though, right?
No.
Damn. Damn.
Maybe at New York. Awesome. All right. Well, those were our top 3 news stories from San Diego Comic-Con. Obviously, there was a ton of other stuff. Any other things you just wanted to bring up quickly, John?
They did a little bit about, and I haven't heard your Patreon episode yet, but they did a little bit about
Cool Cat.
No, the Dark Crystal Netflix series. I saw a little bit of kind of like a behind the scenes on that. I'm very excited about that. And other than that, there was they made an announcement. I mean, I'm not excited about this. It's kind of ridiculous, but in 2020 and 2021, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, which after that last Halloween movie, I can't wait for it to end because I don't know. I didn't dig it, and I don't know how they're getting 2 more out of that. But I mean, I get it. It made money, but not good.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't understand that philosophy at all, but, if Jamie Lee Curtis is down for it, who am I to say no?
Yeah. And Halloween Kills is just a weird title.
Well, they can't call it they should be calling it Halloween 3/2, Halloween 2/3.
And Halloween 3: Halloween 4.
Right. Yeah, so Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. I mean, it kind of sucks the suspense out of Halloween Kills. I wonder if there's going to be a next one.
Yeah, really. I mean, you're going into it knowing that he's not going to be done. I don't know. Yeah, I that was one of the things I saw, and I just thought, well, the last one made money, so good for them.
Aubrey's probably already in line to get her tickets. So. All right, Marcellus, anything for you?
Yeah, the Cats trailer. Jesus, I'm keeping a complete open mind because I know nothing about Cats, the musical, at all. So this feels like that scene in Jurassic Park where Jeff Goldblum's like, just because you can make dinosaurs doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
So they're making this movie with using this technology, and they're aiming. You got to swing big. So I'm hoping that it lands, but man, it's jarring.
It's nightmare inducing.
Somewhere James Cameron's laughing like, "Ha! I did Blue Cat People years ago."
Yeah,
nailed it.
That looks awful. Like train wreck off. It looks like when somebody will like post a Snapchat of them holding the filter up to the TV screen.
Yeah.
It looks like that. It looks like Snapchat filter the movie. It looks so fucking bad. But like part of me is like, oh man, this is going to be a train wreck. I totally want to see it now.
Well, the best part is in 2021, there's going to be Cats Kills. And then in 2022, it's going to be Cats Ends. So it's a trilogy.
And then the cats are going to go to the ghetto and they're going to have cats.
Cats with a Z.
Yeah, Cats with a Z.
I actually have seen Cats on stage. When I was very young, my family went. I don't know why, but I remember being bored out of my mind. And Mark, when did you move to this area, Mark? Because I know you grew up in Chicago.
In the mid-'80s.
Okay, so you remember we had Channel 9 and Channel 11 out of New York City. And there would always be commercials for cats.
Oh, yeah, at the Winter Garden.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's all I can think about. That and the PSA about wearing a seatbelt from them. And they'd be like, an accident. The humans had an accident.
Oh, my God, yeah.
There was a child in the car. A child. That's all I can remember about cats. So unless there's a PSA with terrifying Snapchat Taylor Swift about wearing your seatbelt, I don't care about this movie.
that's coming up next, dude. They got plenty of time.
Shit rules. All right. Finally, my last thing was the trailer for Snowpiercer, the TV series, which is inexplicably coming to TBS. What? I thought TBS was comedies, right, Mark?
I don't know. I thought it was basketball games, right?
I don't know, but for some reason the Turner conglomerate has the rights to make a TV show out of this, and they've been working on it for it feels like 3 years. It's finally coming out, and it's on TBS, and the trailer looked really good. Obviously, if you've seen the movie, which was also really good, you kind of already know the story, but it looks like they're expanding on it a lot. If you haven't seen it, the world has gone to an ice age, and the only people left alive are on a train that's perpetually running on a loop around like the world. And they are living on a train. That's what the whole story is about. I'm trying not to spoil it if you haven't seen it. But it looked really cool. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that or had seen the trailer.
I watched the trailer. You sent it to me right before we recorded. It's one of those movies that's on, I think, Netflix or has been, that I've said like 18 million times I should watch that, and I never have. And from what I've seen of the trailer of the movie, this looked almost like it was like, you know how like they made The Shining in 1980 and then they had like the ABC remake of The Shining and like 18 years later. This felt like the miniseries remake from what I saw from the trailer. And it's an interesting concept, but I mean, it's not anything. I'd watch the movie first, and then maybe I'd have to be down like to nothing with reading and other TV to think about watching this.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where eventually it'll pop up on Hulu or Fire Stick, and I could check it out. So, how about you, Mark Ellis?
Yeah, you know what? I actually didn't watch the trailer because I did see the movie, and I feel like I've gotten everything I needed to know about Snowpiercer out of the movie. You know what I mean? I feel like I got the beginning, middle, and end of that story. I don't really think I need to see a more extended version of it. But I'll check out the trailer just to see what's up. Someone put a thing online about how Snowpiercer is really a sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and it blew my mind because it made a lot of sense. Let's put it that way.
Does the kid in Snowpiercer sleep with his parents and grandparents in the same bed?
Yes. No, I don't know. I don't.
Does his grandfather refuse to work for 20 years and never get out of bed until he gets a free trip somewhere?
You will not let that go, will you?
Fuck that guy.
There is some weird shit going on in Willy Wonka. Really weird shit.
My family's destitute and we can barely eat. Fuck that. I'm not getting out of bed. It's like, well, free trip. Let me dance across the room. All right, so that's going to do it for San Diego Comic-Con stuff. If there's anything we didn't talk about or anything you guys were excited about, reach out to us on social media, hit us up, and we'll let you know what we thought. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to review the movie Crawl.
Terrificon, Connecticut's biggest Comic-Con, returns to Mohegan Sun, August 9th to the 11th. Meet Billy D. Williams, Val Kilmer, Doctor Who's John Barrowman, and the voices from Animaniacs and Thundercats. New England's largest guest list of comic book artists from DC and Marvel Comics is at Terrificon on August 9th to the 11th at Mohegan Sun. Tickets on sale now at Terrificon.com.
See you later, alligator.
All right, and we're back. So we all had a chance to watch the movie Crawl this past week. And, we'll go around with non-spoilers, and then we'll play the sound drop, and then we'll spoil. Let's just get it started. John, what did you think?
I typically like movies like this, the kind of like Deep Blue Sea, Lake Placid, Ghost in the Darkness, Man vs. Nature. Yeah, it was a decent movie. I enjoyed it, and I think the best way to put it was like the day after I saw it, it was like purged out of my head. So in all reality, would I watch it again? Sure. But was it something that like knocked it out of the park for me? No.
Okay. All right. How about you, Marcellus?
Yeah, the movie delivers. I think it delivers exactly what it promises, and I enjoyed it. I had a really good time with it. I thought the suspense really worked for what they were trying to do. So, I bought it. I enjoyed it.
Okay. I actually really liked this movie.
Wow.
I went in with zero expectations, and you know what? I liked it. It was good. It was lean. It was mean. It was quick. It was only I think 82 minutes.
Yeah, it was short as hell.
Which is fine. You know what? Movies are not every movie has to be Endgame or Lord of the Rings extended edition.
Right.
So you know what? It was in, it was out, and I had a good time. And at the days since I've seen it, I've thought about it, and I know completely opposite of what John just said. I've liked it more thinking about it, and I was like, oh, that was cool. Oh, wait, that was pretty cool. I haven't gone, oh, that was stupid. Oh, that was stupid. Oh, that was stupid. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll see something, and then before we record, I'm thinking about it more, and I start disliking it more and more and more.
Yeah.
But this one, I've actually find myself liking it more. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm apologies to John and to Paul from the Countdown, who I know both didn't like it.
Oh. No, I did not like it. When I went and saw it, I had a good time. It was a pretty fun movie, but it just went into that mental drawer of okay, it exists. I didn't think about it afterwards, but I also didn't at any point think about like you said, oh, how stupid was that? Oh, how terrible was that? But I also didn't start going, man, that scene was really awesome. It's kind of like one of these things where it did its job. I had a fun night at the movies, but it just didn't. Perfect example is a very similar movie experience. Or at least movie, in the same vein was last year was The Meg, which I really wanted to see. And I went to the theater, and for days afterwards, I wanted to jump off a fucking building because I just thought that was so lame. This one was a very passable movie. I had fun. I took my wife to see it. We both, there was jump scares and everything. But when I left, it just didn't go into that, I'll use Deep Blue Sea as an example. I remember seeing Deep Blue Sea in the movies and leaving and just being like, my God, man, they somehow took a Hollywood movie and a sci-fi Saturday night movie and put them together and really knocked it out of the park. This was a fun movie. Yeah, it didn't catch me the right way, I guess, totally.
That makes sense.
Okay. Well, I guess there's not really much else to say without spoiling the movie, so let's just do it and jump into spoilers.
Spoiler alert! I had seen the future and I had to prevent it.
All right, so you guys know we're going to be spoiling the movie now. If you haven't seen it, obviously go check it out and come back and listen to the rest of the show. Or if you don't want to, listen to the rest of the show and hear what we have to say. We'll do it the old school way we always do. What did you like about the movie, Marcellus?
It definitely has a top runner for Woman Crush of the Year 2019.
Oh, yes.
KS Scolario. She's just cute. She's just cute. I've always thought she was cute. I'm very glad to see her in a big Hollywood mainstream movie. But she was badass. The thing I really liked about this movie is that it has to balance being a disaster movie, a father-daughter drama, and a home invasion movie, and do it under 90 minutes. And I think it really accomplished it. And all of the setup that they did at the beginning, I think really paid off. And it just got brutal and more brutal as you got towards the end. So, I really liked the balance of everything. And I really liked the way it was pretty much streamlined from beginning to end.
Nice. How about you, John? What do you think?
I like the concept a lot. I like the fact that, like Mark said, you've got this category, whatever, 5 hurricane hitting, and nobody should be in this town. And she goes in to find her dad, who's been missing. And I like the fact that the first half of the movie, you get the title Crawl. You find out it's because they're stuck in a crawl space. There was a lot of really cool little jump scare moments when you start realizing that there's multiple alligators. I liked a lot of that stuff. I like the fact that you got in between like the actiony moments, you got like the back and forth about these two characters. I didn't have the same feelings towards Kayla Scaladario.
Yeah.
But she was good. I did like her. I thought she was good, and she's definitely cute. I thought she was really good. What I was impressed about with that is when was the last time you went to the movies and it was a Kayla Scaladario movie? I mean, this movie hangs on her. And Barry Pepper, who I've always liked as kind of like a character actor, does a really good job of fleshing it out. And it's one of those movies where you get very few cast members and there's very little kind of interplay between people. You've got to kind of deal with the people you get. And because of the 20 minutes of their backstory, you get filled in on like the problems they're having, which make it more important for you as a viewer to want these people to live through it. And yeah, I mean, the alligators, the CGI that they did use, I don't know how much was CGI and how much was practical. It looked good. It didn't, I've seen some of these movies where, if you ever see, it was a long time ago, but Eraser, when Schwarzenegger shoots that crocodile, it looks like it was something out of like Resident Evil. It was just the worst graphics of all time. I know we're 20 plus years later, but they still can really whiff on CGI. I thought it all looked very cool. So yeah, I mean, I guess talking to you guys, I guess I feel like I probably like it a little bit more than I felt like I did. But yeah, it and again, like Joey said, it's an hour and 28 minutes long or whatever. It was fairly tight. And I guess we're going to get into the stuff we don't like afterwards. I got a few things there too.
Okay. I was really surprised. All I knew about this movie was the commercial. And I remember when we saw the trailer and we talked about it on the show, I was kind of pissed because I felt like we had seen a lot of the movie. I almost felt like the trailer had shown too much. But the trailer actually didn't really show much at all. I didn't realize there was only going to be like the two of them and they were going to be stuck in the crawl space under the house, which was scary. I thought they were going in the basement. I thought it was going to be a full basement, but it was, I guess maybe do they not have basements in Florida? I know some places don't have basements. So
yeah, Florida doesn't have a lot of basements. It's mostly the dirt is like a lot of sandy type dirt down there. So they have crawl spaces or nothing or just slabs.
So that made sense. That makes sense now. But yeah, I really wasn't expecting them to be in like a tight confined space, and that it was really just the two of them, her and her father, and the two alligators. And they didn't really build up to it. Like she's down there. She starts crawling towards the stairs, and boom, there's the alligator. And now the movie's in like going 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, and it took a chunk out of her leg, like right towards the beginning of the movie. I thought she had plot armor, but nope.
So it was there. I really liked a lot of the kills were gory. The people that were in the
convenience
store across the street that were stealing the ATM, and then they all got ripped to shreds. That was great. And it was really scary. There's a lot of jump scares and stuff that was great. Yeah, there was some plot armor and there was some contrivances that, to make the movie go along, but you just kind of go with it. It was a movie about killer alligators. I actually thought they were going to be like mutant alligators or like monsters, but no, they were just normal alligators. And guess what? You just don't fuck with alligators.
Yeah, definitely.
Any animal that could take a gun down the throat and like 17 shots and still live. I don't know if that's a normal alligator, but that thing was that scene was pretty. I kind of laughed at that a little bit. The plot, like you said, the plot armor part of it was a little bit much because I just never felt like after a certain point, I never felt that these characters were in any danger. And right up to the end when the father's arm gets ripped off and he's still ticking and the dog is still ticking. And I got to a point where I was like, I kind of would almost wish like the father had gotten killed in the last like 20 minutes to really emphasize that she was, in a little bit more trouble than it just seemed like to me, like plot armor is a perfect word. I've never actually heard that before, a phrase. I just felt like they were in no danger. I felt like no matter what, they were going to get past these alligators.
I was just the opposite. I thought for sure that I definitely thought the dog was going to die. Like there's no way
the dog was not going to die. I knew there was no way in hell the dog. They don't kill animals in any movies ever.
Yes, that's true. But this is the guy who he did kill a dog in one of his other movies. I forgot which one it was. But so I wouldn't put it past him. And that dog it's a sweet little dog. And those alligators were pretty vicious. I thought for sure that it was going to be a snack at some point.
All right, let's get into what you didn't like because John is chomping at the bit to tell us some things he didn't like about the movie.
Honestly, for me, that was my major gripe, was that it felt like that there was no way after a certain point that if you weren't a secondary character, that secondary characters were all going to die. And if you were these two, the father and daughter, you weren't going to die. And again, I know she's not going to go, but I just felt like they just kept giving them passes. I mean, her arm got eaten by an alligator at one point, and she's pulling it out. She's got bit on the leg. He got his arm ripped off. They're just getting repeatedly fucked up by these alligators. And I know Joey said 2 alligators. How many were there in this movie? I know there were some babies, but like, weren't there like 3 or 4 at some point?
Yeah, there was definitely like 3 out. There was 2 inside, and then like the big mama one. And then there was like 3 or so outside, 3 or 4 outside.
But I do want to go, on the other end, because really that's really the only thing I had with it was I just felt like there was no, like they were not in danger in terms of like, I just didn't feel like they were going to die. But on the other end, like to go back real quick to stuff I liked, like Joey said, that whole scene in the convenience store where the guy is inside the convenience store and the water's filling up to like his chest and he gets attacked. I thought that was fantastic because, a half-filled convenience store is somewhere that I've never seen like an attack happen in a movie, and it was just, there was a lot of really cool scenes like that and shots like that when the cops were getting taken down, like in the yard and stuff. There was definitely a lot of cool things about this movie. There was definitely more stuff I liked about this movie than didn't like. It's like, I'm sure you guys have had that before where like you see a movie and as much as you thought it was cool, it just doesn't hang on you. Like where you're like, oh, I've got to see this again. Like when it comes out on Blu-ray, I've got to pick this up. That was just where I was with this movie. It was enjoyable. I had fun with it, but overall it just didn't really grab me totally.
All right. What about you, Marcellus? Anything you didn't like about the movie?
Yeah. The only thing that I didn't really like about it was the fact that as much as they were getting like attacked and, bit and stuff, they were still able, she was still able to swim and hold her breath for like a very long time towards the end of the movie, even though her leg got chomped and her arm got chomped. I mean, she was still able to outswim the gator, when it got to the boat or when her swimming to the boat. So like their injuries didn't really matter. You know what I mean? No matter how much they got hurt, they seemed to be able to kind of brush it off, which I would have liked to seen them seeing them get attacked was great. I would have liked to see them in a little bit more pain or suffer a little bit more or make it feel like they were suffering a little bit more.
That's not very nice.
But there was a point like halfway through the movie where I wasn't sure if they were going to make it. And I just envisioned this is the movie that alligators would watch at home with popcorn and go like, oh yeah, they're going to eat these humans. Like I definitely felt like the alligators were the star of that movie, like halfway through.
All right. You know what? There really was. I'm in the same boat as you guys. There really wasn't a lot that I didn't like about the movie. Probably like we've said over and over again at this point, they got eaten a lot. And I think at some point you can't get bitten anymore by alligators.
Yeah.
They treated alligator bites like bee stings in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean,
I'm pretty sure if I got bit by an alligator, I'd be fucking crying hard and like probably inconsolable and not like, I'm not fucking swimming for nothing. And she gets bit in the leg and on the arm, and she's got her arm in the alligator's mouth. And she's like, fuck it. I'm holding my breath. I'm swimming 1,000 yards, whatever I got to do.
They did establish that she was like, I don't know, Olympic level swimmer or like higher echelon swimmer. So they took pains to establish that. So I'll give them that. But man, she got bitten on the leg and it grabbed her and was like slamming her into pipes in the wall.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Then it bit her arm.
Yep.
Did she get bit again after that?
Well, no, she got stuck in that roll at the end.
Oh yeah, and then it had her in a death roll. Yep. So yeah, I mean, it was like, and her dad got, his bone was sticking out of his leg, his shoulder was bit, and his arm got bitten off. So I guess he didn't really need the shoulder after all. But yeah, I mean, they got fucked up, and I think they did a good job, even with the plot armor these guys had of the multiple bites, of kind of making it, like you said, Mark, almost like, all right, maybe they're not going to make it out. Maybe the movie is going to be that they die at the end, you're depressed, go home.
Yep.
Because, it's not like we're watching and as much as I love those movies, it's not like we're watching a Marvel movie where we know no matter what at the end, Captain America is going to win at the end of the movie. Spider-Man is going to win somehow at the end of Far From Home. So they could have both been killed, or I expected the father to not make it out. That was my expectation the second I saw the bone sticking out of his leg.
Yeah.
So the fact that he did make it out was good. The scene where he was drowning in the basement and she had to smash the floor, that was horrifying.
Yeah. So technically he did die. Technically.
Yeah, you're right.
But that would really be it. But I understand why they have to do that, because the movie would be like 5 minutes long if they couldn't. And I like that they were able to establish, okay, even the father said, well, I crawled over here and they can't get through the pipes. So It made sense, why they had a space to sit in that where they were safe. But like, I don't know, I just thought they did a really good job with what they had for a smaller scale movie that was set in a small space. So not a lot to dislike.
Yeah, it works. It's a very simple movie, and the Gators don't team up and form Voltron, form the Ultimate Gator to really eat the entire house. It doesn't get crazy ridiculous like you would expect the Sam Raimi movie to get, but it does exactly what it advertises.
Right. And I thought in retrospect, I was expecting it to be like mutant monster alligator.
Right.
and having watched it, I actually like what they did better than what I was thinking it was going to be, because I'm glad it wasn't like monsters or some weird motivation for these monsters to be attacking them, some stupid, it was just, there's a fucking hurricane and there's a fucking alligator in your basement. Figure it out.
You're glad it wasn't like alligators on their hind legs that use katana swords or anything like that.
Well, I mean, that does sound pretty awesome. And as much as I love Roddy Piper as Hell Comes to Frogtown, that's a deep cut. I'm sorry.
I got it.
And, as much as I like stuff like that, I really appreciate this just being more of man versus nature almost. So.
The only question I had, and this is not like me being like, this could never happen, or it actually is like a viable question, is in a house in Florida, like where they don't have a basement and they have a crawl space. And again, this is a real question. If someone out there listening knows, why would you have a pipe that leads directly into your house? Like, it didn't seem like it was like caged off or anything. It just seems like, and they said it was like the fresh water pipe of some sort.
It was caged off though. It was ripped open by the alligators.
Oh, okay, all right. I must have missed that. So I was really wondering why. Okay, so that's fine.
Yeah, because when she was swimming through it to get out, there was I don't know what you would even call it. There was bars or something on it that she had to brush through that had been ripped apart.
Okay.
All right, cool. So, I mean, any final thoughts on Crawl, Marcellus?
Yeah, if you're robbing a convenience store and there's 2 hot dogs on a little roller things that have been there for a while, just leave them. You don't have to eat that nasty convenience store hot dog. Just leave it. That's all. That's my word. That's the one thing one of the two things I learned from this movie. Don't eat the last hot dog at a convenience store, and stay out of Florida because the gators are bad.
Poor Phil Bautista. All right. How about you, John? Any final thoughts on Crawl?
I'm going to go along with Mark Ellis and say that if you are going to loot a convenience store during a hurricane in a small boat, don't try to put a fucking ATM in the boat with people. Those things, I mean, I've never tried to move one, but I know they can't be light. And it just was a stupid idea, and they deserve to die because of that.
Yeah, I will just say that I'm a big fan now of Kayla Scolodario. I think we all need to find some Olympic swimming level females with daddy issues in our lives. This is the best kind. And yeah, that's all I got. Let's get it a review out of 5, John.
I guess I would go with like a 2.75.
All right. Not directly in the middle, but a little better than average. Excellent. How about you, Mark Ellis?
Yeah, I'm going to give this a category 4 out of 5.
Wow, 4 out of 5. Excellent. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I was going to go 2.75 out of 5. But as I was thinking about it, I liked it more and more throughout the week, and I bumped it right up to a 3. So that is a 3 out of 5 for me. I would definitely recommend checking it out. Whether you go see it in the theater or wait till it hits streaming or home video. Home video. Makes me sound like I'm 900 years old. But I would definitely check it out. I had a lot of fun watching it. So that is Crawl, the movie. Let's get some recommendations, and let's wrap it up. John, tell the listeners once again where they can find Pint of Comics, and then tell us something we need to do this week.
Okay. www.pintofcomics.com. You could find us on every podcatching app out there. Spotify, iHeartRadio. You know what? We have a YouTube channel. We put videos up quite often. We've got some stuff coming out with Joey taking on Mitch Halleck from the Terrific Terrificon. So I would say check that out. It was a pretty interesting couple of trivia contests. That'll be coming out in a week or so on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, hit the bell. And, if I had to suggest anything, I would say get your tickets to Terrificon. It's August 9th through 11th, and it is a great comic book show, and it's a lot of fun, and we'll be there, and I know Joey and Mark will be there, and Lando Calrissian, Billy D. Williams will be there, Val Kilmer. It's a great time and a ton. It's very comic specific. So there's we talked about Tom King. Joey can walk up to Tom King right there and tell him he doesn't like him because he'll be there.
I'm not that much of an asshole. I'm sure he's a cool guy. I just don't like his writing.
So yeah, check Terrificon out. Terrificon.com. Get your tickets and have a good couple days of fun.
All right, Mark Ellis Regans, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm going to just drop again what I did last week. Veronica Mars did come out this week on Hulu. I said it was, and I don't know if I got some inside information or not, but it was supposed to come out next week, but they dropped it for San Diego Comic-Con. So I've been watching that. It is really good. If you are a fan of the old Veronica Mars show, this one, it feels just like the other episodes. It's so good. But just a more mature version of it. And it's really cool so far. I'm really digging it. So if you have Hulu, check out Veronica Mars Season 4.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will suggest you go to SoWizardPodcast.com where you can find the podcast every week, links to all our social media accounts on the right-hand side of the page, movie reviews, streaming picks, so much more, SoWizardPodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or just about anywhere under the sun where you can find podcasts. We will be there. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, weekly, exclusive, and free new content on our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, search So Wizard Podcast. And, of course, you can always support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SoWizardPodcast. Get exclusive episodes of the show and more at patreon.com/SoWizardPodcast. I will suggest that you check out the Amazon streaming service TV show, The Boys, which should be dropping momentarily as you listen to this, if not already. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, it looks cool. And two, We're going to be talking about it next week on the podcast. So check out the boys and then come on back and talk about it with us. But that is going to do it for episode number 259 in a row of the So Wizard podcast. I've been your host, Joey DiCarlo. My co-hosts have been from Pint of Comics, Mr. Johnny Ganache.
I am an apex predator.
Just like Randy Orton. And the expert, Mr. Marquis, Marcellus Reagans.
I will see you guys in the multiverse of madness. Wakanda forever.
We'll see you next week, guys. Thanks for listening. Good journey.
This lack of self-control I fear is never ending. Controlling, I can't seem to find myself again. My walls are closing in.
Not a sense of confidence. I'm convinced that there's just too much pressure to take.
I felt this way before. So insecure. Crawling in my skin. These wounds, they will not heal. Fear is
Sure, people are like, why the fuck are they playing that song?